Alright, so this is my Astraeos base that I haven't used in a long time. I made this a while ago, created a save file backup, and I just kind of wanted to show it off because it's the biggest and best base that I've ever made. I'm going to preface you right now by saying there is one part of the base that is entirely for functional purposes. It looks aesthetically awful. I try to just ignore it, and when I take screenshots, I usually cut that part out. So, we'll explain that in a bit. To start, it is located on. Oh, the map's doing that fun thing again. One moment. Alright, it took a second to look. I paused the recording, and then the second that I turned it back on, it went bad again. Anyway, you get the idea. We're on Foquinto South for whatever reason. I can fix this. I have to type in a command, but last time I did it, it made the whole thing freak out, so I'm not doing it this time. We're on Foquinto South. You could definitely tell the spot on your map. Maybe I'll put that as the thumbnail. It's just a screenshot of it later. And we've got this bay here with these two big statues holding their hands out. I saw this spot and I was like, I really want this location. And this is what made me decide to settle here. I wanted to make a big harbor wall that kind of blocks it in. So we've got this. I went all out on it, and it took forever to build. I mean, you'll start to notice a pattern. Everything in this took forever to build. There are holes in it, but nothing can actually fit through. I do have some feeding troughs in there. Of course, I have the fly and invisible and infinite stats cheats on right now just to showcase this. But yeah, and I tend to use this as like a aquatic tame breeding pen. There are these little stands with troughs strewn throughout the bay here, and I've got this raft that has not fully loaded in. Interesting. Let's check this. There we go. Now it works. So yeah, I set this up so that I could do my aquatic breeding here. Anyway, this is the base, and that big, giant, ugly eyesore, that's the part I was talking about. It's just a tower that I can launch with my Meguana from to get some momentum, but it really just looks ugly with the rest of it. I probably could have built it in a way that made it look good, but I was exhausted from building all this other stuff. So let's take a peek. We need some more sunlight. There we go. Now it's noon. Let's make it 1. Oh, oops. Wrong one. Anyway, so it started off with just this kind of castle building, this central building right here, and as time went along, I realized this place isn't really that safe. Are those bison? Did they add them into... Oh, that's cool. They added them into Astraeos. Neat. Anyway, yeah, this place isn't very safe. As you can see, there's astrals. There's all kinds of stuff around here. So I needed the wall. So I built this wall around this spot and put the metal spikes up everywhere but the entrances, of course. I've got this behemoth gate to let me in. There's a keypad. I don't remember what any of the codes are. I built this little staircase. I think it was for an Edmontonia that I needed to move up there for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, at the gates we have, and all throughout the walls, we have these turrets. They are set up to specifically target Argies, Ichthyornis, Astral Argies, and Acrocanthosaurus. The Acros were tall enough to reach over the walls and bite the wood stuff. The ballistas are just for show. I mean, I have used them to attack things, but just kind of for fun. And so are the catapults up top. Now, I've got torches all around the edges, and this is kind of the design I went for with the walls. I tried to make these platforms where the turrets are as uniform as possible. Didn't always work, but you'll see. You get the idea. This is kind of just how it is all the way around. So initially, like I said, it was just this. This was the end of the wall. But later on, I needed more space, so I added that. But yeah, so we also have a river that kind of flows right through it, and to make it look like it makes sense, I built this grate here, kind of similar to the design of the harbor wall. I just wanted it to kind of flow naturally. Um, and we got the waterfall coming out here. Other than that, we've got pretty much just the same design throughout. And we have turrets pretty much perched wherever they may be needed, wherever they're in range of being able to take care of whatever's attacking. Anyway, uh, these walls, they're not just for defense and show, they actually contain a lot of important stuff. One of the biggest challenges in this was uh, making sure we had coverage for feeding troughs, irrigation, and electricity. So a lot of that stuff is housed within the walls here. And I've got a mod, it's the power amplifier. Find one. There's one, and it extends the range of generators. It's pretty handy because obviously there's a limit to how many generators you can have in one spot. And this extends all the way around. It does get cut off wherever the behemoth gateways are for obvious reasons. And I've got doors that allow me to enter it in case I need to, you know, do anything regarding any of the stuff that's in there. Anyway, so this is probably one of the more recent additions, this bridge. I wanted to have a bridge that goes across because it was getting to be kind of a pain trying to run across the river. It would slow me down, and also piranhas do spawn in here, or at least they did. Maybe they don't anymore. Underneath that, there's a feeding trough, I believe. Yep. Did I put that back right? Yeah. This little pen here, I don't really remember what I was doing with it. It looks like a taming pen, and that might be what it is. But I've got a hatchery here. Kind of just a simple design. I really didn't want to make this look modern, any of it. Kind of had to with the turrets, but I wanted to keep it as like medieval looking as possible. And of course, you know, the air conditioners in all the windows. So this is my hatchery that I've got. It's pretty simple. It's big enough to fit um, any baby creatures, of course. The parents kind of have to stay outside when you're dealing with bigger stuff. So that's that. We have the greenhouse slash bio grinder building, which, as I stated, you'll find in here my bio grinder. Oh, good, the gears actually move again. For a while, they weren't doing it. And I also cook my kibble in here, because of course this gives kibble, and you know anything else I want to cook in here as well. You can hear the upstairs neighbors are being a bit noisy, so let's go visit them, shall we? Oops, I got on the ladder. That's okay. So, we have a few things up here. For one, my greenhouse. I don't know, I like to have these little open flaps, I guess you'd call them, for the greenhouse, just to make it look like it's being aired out. And I have this mod that allows you to tame Titanomyrma queens. And they can be set to a anthill mode, and you can give them certain directives. So, like, yeah, you can change the directive so that they defend you. They'll actually attack hostile things going by. You can have them repair stuff. Currently, I have them set to harvesting. So these guys will come out and harvest my crops in the... see? Look at them. They're running around. So they'll come out and harvest the crops. And they do have a pretty decent... oh, maybe they don't have a decent spoil timer reduction. But either way, they collect them pretty quickly. So that's the greenhouse. Out here, we have the snails. They're currently making some paste. I don't really need it, but it is a nice little bonus. I used to have dung beetles up here, but you'll be taking... You can see right now, I don't need any more fertilizer. Not only that one, but this one is full of fertilizer too. So yeah, these guys are doing their job, and along with the dung beetles, what I did is I set this up over here. This is where I was initially composting fertilizer. There's still some thatch in there. These guys, I wanted to make it look nice, so I set the troughs up against the wall and kind of positioned them like that. And they would just constantly be shitting, so I could get more and more feces to make into fertilizer. They were in range, fortunately, of when the dung beetles were up here. They could actually reach anything that they dropped over there, and they would turn it into fertilizer. But they were a little too productive. Uh, this is a kill pen. What I was doing when I was breeding, in particular, I was breeding gigas, and I wanted to use the unneeded babies to help them level up. So I would toss out the babies in there, unclaim them, and they wouldn't like be running around and stuff when I use the gigas to eat them. I know you can set them to passive prior to unclaiming them, and that stops them from running. But the gigas also have a knockback, which was getting annoying. But anyway, this just made it easier. You stand the giga right at the front, and it would eat everything. All right, so let's take a look at the walls themselves and just kind of go in around here. Of course, we got the ballistas, we've got the catapults up top, and you can actually go inside each of these. What is this? Oh, that's a torch from above. All right, and inside, you can go up the ladders to get up there because obviously, you want it to be accessible, not just by flying up there on a flying tame or whatever. So there are ladders and doors that allow you to get everywhere on the wall. As well, of course, we have the main building, which I'll highlight in a bit. We have the expansion that I needed to create. So I ran out of space in here for like actual buildings. I mean, I could put more in, but it would be so cluttered I wouldn't be able to move tames around in here. It already kind of is. So I decided I would put on an extra section. So here we have my Zeppelin hangar. And that's really all it is. A very basic building that houses my Zeppelin. And I think I got it even this time. I've struggled in the past with getting the hangar doors even in the center. It's in the center this way, but not this way, if you get what I mean. But I think that's fine. Anyway, it's all lit up, too, to be kind of like a landing strip. We might as well just address this now. The idea of this, it's just a tall tower that I can go to the top of, climb up with my Meguana, and get some momentum from jumping off here with it. There's some spotlights on the edges, which I kind of forgot about. Cool. And there's one more building over here that, let's go take a look at it. Set up kind of like a greenhouse. It is one of the metal structures in this area. So let's grab the apiarist suit. I'm already wearing ghillie, but, play along. And some bug repellent. And now we can go in to the hive. Yes, I got all of these bees by just... there's actually a spot where they kind of hyper spawn. So I was able to just get all the ones in the area, have them all respawn, get more, get more. There are 42 beehives in here, and they're all producing honey. We're up to 3 on that one. 3. Are they all up to 3? Yeah. And temporary storage. We have a bunch of honey in here as well. But that's the idea here. That's all this building is just beehives. So let's return the apiarist suit. I spent a lot of time on this save, if you can't tell. Alright, now we can go back to the main building and take a look at that. So let's take a look at the outside first. The thing that bugs me the most about the main building is it's off-center in the courtyard. I built this and then built the wall around it, and I built the wall more along with the terrain than with the castle because it made more sense that way. So it is what it is. I try not to pay attention to it, but yeah, it's off center. So you have these little canopies up top here, and they don't really serve a purpose. They're just for show. You can get into them through these hatch frames that go into the main house. Um, Ignore this one post. And we have a generator and some troughs in here for electricity and feeding coverage. Up top, we've got this water barrel. These things are great. They have a great range on them, as you can see. It didn't cover the whole thing, but it did quite a good portion of it. There's not a lot up here, but you can walk around it, of course. We have this little tower. It's a clock tower, because I put the clock face on it. There's a ladder to climb up and actually activate the clock face, which is currently activated. So let me walk, and we will go in one of the rooms here and kind of make our way inside. So you can get inside the clock tower. The door with door right here for it. This is my bedroom. I have my bunk beds, a fireplace, and my recovery stone. I have a death recovery mod enabled. God, I'm having a hard time keeping the mouse still. And we can climb up here. Why is this? Oh, the light is on. We can climb up here, and this is the inside of the clock tower. You can leave throughout here. And there's also a little platform up top. This serves no purpose at the moment, but there's a lot of space in this build where I kind of planned ahead, like, oh, maybe I'll want to put something here in the future. So that's what that is. Speaking of, let's go to another spot that doesn't really serve a purpose yet. We can go down here. This actually leads to the outside as well. But again, just a little spot that I could put something in the future. And this leads back into the main base on one of these landings. So kind of orient ourselves. This is the front of the building. And up here I have some storage. A little further down this next floor I've got fridges and grills. I've got the industrial preserving bin. Down here is my main storage with my cryo fridges, my linked storage, which I don't think there's nothing in it right now. The tinkering desk, which is absolutely useless, by the way. If you haven't made them, don't. Little balcony out here. I think at one point I had my compost bins on this, but it was getting a bit noisy with all the flies buzzing. So the back wall here, we've got a bunch of fabricators. We got smithies in the front. We've got the makeshift mega lab. Up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 chemistry benches. And up here we have 3 industrial grinders and a vault right there for like my scrap items that I plan to grind up. On the other side, of course, symmetrical balcony. These are neat. This is a modded item. It's the polymer converter. It turns organic polymer and corrupted nodules into regular polymer. It's pretty neat. The lighting gets a little wonky when you have like a place like this lit up so big, or at least it does on my PC. My PC is not bad. I wouldn't say it's top of the line, but it's definitely enough to run this. So, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me if you have the same issue with the lighting. So here is my smeltery. I also have a mod that allows you to resize a number of structures. One of those is the industrial forge. When you do that, it reduces the overall inventory space. So these each only have 50, but I was able to fit 7 of them in this room. We also have the steam forge right here, which these things are fantastic. If you haven't made them, they run on element, so it's definitely a bit expensive, but they do a really good job of smelting. Little landings around here that I haven't decided if I want to do anything with them yet. And I guess that's kind of it. That's really the whole thing. We can go out back because I wanted one entrance on the back at the very least, and I got these two out front. Um, I farmed for all of the materials to make this, albeit I have very high rates, but it still took forever to farm all the materials and to build this. I did not design it ahead of time. I just went with what felt right and kept going. That probably shows in places. But yeah, this is it. This is my biggest build yet. Again, ignore that. This is the build and my nice little harbor wall. Anyway, bye bye.